Hi, I'm Lauren Gotting, new business director at URM Consulting. Back in January, we hosted a live Q&A session where Amarjit Sandhu, also known as AJ, URM's cybersecurity analyst and Cyber Essentials assessor, answered key questions about the Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus. During the session, he covered everything from the scheme's requirements and recent changes all the way through to practical advice for certification. In this series, we're sharing a selection of his answers in short, bite-sized clips. We hope you find them useful. High-level changes, AJ, so vulnerability changes.
Yep, so currently the requirement is if it's patchable, you must patch it. If it's end of life, you must remove it or upgrade the application if it's available. From April, the requirement is going to change to include all vulnerabilities. So this will cover any sort of configuration change, any registry change, any scripts that need to be run. If the vulnerability is fixable via any of those methods, then it has to be implemented. So this is applicable to legacy protocols and services, weak default settings, misconfigured settings, which currently we would advise you that we've picked them up, but we wouldn't consider it a fail because it's compliant with the scheme.
Now, this sounds quite significant. Now, I'm not a techie person myself. This sounds quite significant. Is this going to be a lot of work for people doing remediations?
Potentially, if you're keeping up to date with patching and you're configuring your devices correctly, it shouldn't really affect you. But there will be clients who may have not seen this previously or unaware. Typically, most of these are simple fixes, but it can be quite time consuming depending on your deployment methods.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get an idea of scale here. So if we ran an assessment and picked up 100 vulnerabilities, how many of those might at the moment be filtered out because it's a config change required, as opposed to just a vulnerability that can be fixed by patching?
It varies from client to client, so I couldn't give you an actual average, but I guess possibly around 10% for the majority of clients, where 10% of their vulnerabilities may be down to misconfigurations or legacy protocols.
Oh, okay, that is quite significant, and that's definitely going to put some more work in the remediators.
Yeah.
Diary, right?
Yeah, it's important that they do fix those because they are vulnerabilities.
Right. Okay. And is there any specific ones you want to address that you think are going to be quite common that people should keep an eye out for? Or
it varies again from client to client, but we do often see where they've misconfigured things like the SMB1 configuration or are using weak authentication methods, which currently that's not included in the testing, but obviously from April onwards, that will be a requirement to fix.
Yeah, and to confirm that, obviously, when we talk about vulnerabilities that we find, obviously that's very much on the Cyber Essentials Plus. So the question on the questionnaire will change to say all vulnerabilities now, and you have to tick that box. So this doesn't matter whether it's Cyber Essentials or Cyber Essentials Plus, it applies to both.
So for Cyber Essentials, you should be going through following the patching requirements, following the vulnerability fixes from April, and making sure that that's all compliant.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, AJ, and thank you for watching. URM is hosting a free webinar in July where we'll be exploring the recent changes to the Cyber Essentials scheme and the Cyber Essentials Plus scheme in more detail. If you'd like to understand how these updates could affect your organisation and get further guidance from our experts, feel free to register at our website, urmconsulting.com. On the website, you'll have a chance to submit any questions ahead of time, and you'll, of course, be able to ask more during the live session, where no question will be left unanswered. If we don't hit them all on the live session, we'll reach out to address them one-to-one.